and said, I am very confident at this stage of my life that the earliest developed Sunni creed is Atharism, or what we now call the simplistic Salafi creed. And that is to affirm the attributes and to believe in Qadar and to respect the Sahaba. That's very clear. It's the earliest developed creed. Ash'arism comes along, basically before Abu Hasan al-Ash'ari and others, and they start their strands and whatnot. That's all valid and correct. Now, the question, and I don't disagree with anything that I've said there. The question comes, how evil is that deviation? That's really the question here, okay? How bad is it if you're an Ash'ari? That's where I've developed. I haven't changed my historical facts about who came first and what was the earlier theology. I think that's very clear that Imam Ahmad was the earliest from that generation, if you like, or from that, not that generation, from the development of the details of Allah's names and attributes. But at the same time, the person who follows the other strand of Sunnism, they are not evil people. And when I was in my early 20s, the way that the culture was back in the 90s and the teachers that I had, that was the mainstream. And it's a two-way street, by the way, because the other group did the same to our group at the time. You are taught that they are deviant. You are taught that they're wrong. You are taught that they're potentially going to be punished by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's where I disagree. And I say that, look, I still feel that the safer position and the more orthodox position and the one that is clearly intended psychologically, philosophically, when Allah says that your Lord is going to come on the Day of Judgment, what do you think is understood by the people who read the Quran? When Allah says they fear the Lord who is above them, what do you think the average person reading the Quran is going to understand? So for somebody to come along and say, oh, but Allah does not move from place X to place Y, and when you say Allah moves, this implies this, and you bring in all of these proofs, I still say, after all of these decades, that that's not, you are bringing in a paradigm and you're bringing in elements that the average person who reads the Quran is not going to think of, and Allah is speaking to that average person. Nonetheless, we shouldn't demonize and we shouldn't consider the other group to be people of batil or whatnot. Rather, it is an interpretation, and it has been predominant in certain time frames. So, ya Allah, bismillah, live and let live, and in advanced discussions have it. So anyway, I hope I don't see any contradiction in all that the brother quoted, and Allah knows best.